inspired by real-life events. Narrator Ryan Mitchell woke up at 3:27 a.m. inside a sealed global internet backbone control facility beneath Virginia, with emergency network collapse alerts flashing across massive fiber optic mapping walls, and a federal communications security director saying, "Your authorization sequence initiated an unsanctioned global internet routing reconfiguration affecting multiple undersea cable systems and satellite backbone nodes." And in that instant, his entire world collapsed, because just hours earlier, he was a senior internet infrastructure engineer working for an international digital backbone consortium, responsible for maintaining global connectivity, undersea fiber optic stability, satellite internet synchronization, and cross-border data routing integrity. And now, he was being treated as the central cause of a classified digital infrastructure crisis that nearly triggered a worldwide internet fragmentation event. And the first shock wasn't fear. It was disbelief so intense, it felt like the entire digital world had silently detached itself from reality, because Ryan's entire career was built on keeping humanity connected, stabilizing global data flow, preventing routing collapse, and ensuring the internet remained a unified system under coordinated governance. But now, those same systems were defining him as the operator who initiated a cascading global routing override he had no memory of activating. And within hours, his international network clearance was suspended, his biometric encryption keys frozen under global communications law, his apartment sealed for forensic network reconstruction, and internal routing telemetry logs labeled him as primary anomaly in distributed global internet escalation event. And Ryan sat in the interrogation chamber replaying his last operational cycle, remembering fiber route audits, backbone load balancing simulations, satellite handshake calibrations, and then a gap, an unexplained missing execution window between 12:03 a.m. and 1:48 a.m., where global internet systems showed his authentication profile, issuing high-level routing override commands across multiple continents simultaneously. But he had no memory of initiating any of those actions. And when investigators showed him synchronized network telemetry displaying autonomous rerouting of global traffic flows, latency spikes across continents, and temporary isolation of entire regional internet segments unfolding under his credentials across North America, Europe, and Asia, Ryan immediately said, "That's not me. I never activated those systems." But the lead communications security director replied coldly, "The network has already verified complete routing integrity across all backbone layers." And that sentence shattered his understanding, because it meant identity inside global internet systems was no longer about intent or human action. It was about validated execution consensus across machines carrying the entire world's communication. And by sunrise, he was released under continuous international surveillance. While global communications intelligence networks had already internally classified him as a high-risk digital infrastructure destabilization vector, and outside the facility, Ryan stood beneath the cold dawn sky of Virginia, watching distant data center lights blink across the horizon like a nervous system of the planet, while invisible bulwarks carried humanity's entire digital existence in silence. And that night, he received a message through an encrypted backbone relay saying, "If you want to understand the routing event, come to sublevel chamber, Node 13 beneath the abandoned transatlantic cable hub, no devices." And despite knowing it could permanently erase whatever remained of his life, he went, Because when a system defines you as the trigger of global connectivity collapse, truth becomes more important than survival. And deep beneath the abandoned cable hub, he met Dr. Evelyn Shaw, a former global network architecture specialist who specialized in internet backbone integrity and large-scale routing anomaly reconstruction. And she didn't soften the reality. She immediately showed him reconstructed traffic flow pathways and said, "Your identity wasn't physically present inside the routing layer. It was replicated through a live authentication relay embedded inside the global internet infrastructure." And Ryan instantly said, "Then I can prove I didn't do it." But Evelyn replied, "You're still thinking like someone inside human accountability systems, not like someone inside autonomous global networks where execution itself becomes accepted reality once the internet stabilizes around it." And she explained that the incident wasn't a single rogue command, but a coordinated manipulation of global routing systems, where authentication signatures could be mirrored into distributed backbone frameworks, allowing massive traffic redirection cascades to propagate under legitimate operator identities while erasing conflicting routing logs across redundant undersea and satellite layers. And Ryan's profile had been selected because his operational history showed exceptional stability across global network systems with near-zero anomaly deviation, making him the perfect attribution anchor for rapid containment of a globally catastrophic internet fragmentation event. And suddenly, the case wasn't just about a network glitch. It was about identity, replications inside infrastructure capable of controlling humanity's entire communication reality in real time. And Evelyn offered him a choice: step away and let the system finalize him as the architect of the global routing collapse, or help her trace the internal backbone relay chain before it was permanently overwritten by automated internet stabilized dozens of protocols designed to preserve global connectivity at any cost. And Ryan stood in silence, listening to distant server vibrations beneath the underground facility, thinking about how every human life now depended on invisible routing decisions made by systems no one truly understood, thinking about years of engineering work spent trying to prevent exactly this kind of systemic failure, and thinking about how fragile identity becomes when even the flow of human communication can be rewritten as an automated truth. And finally he said, "If my identity has already been used to manipulate global internet systems without my consent, then I have nothing left to protect except the truth itself." And that decision pulled him into a hidden layer of global backbone infrastructure where nothing remained stable, because every routing log they analyzed was actively recalculating itself in real time. Every traffic trace they followed kept shifting, as if the entire internet itself was adapting to their investigation. And soon they discovered the breach wasn't foreign cyber sabotage, but internal privilege abuse involving a senior backbone systems architect who had been quietly rerouting authentication sessions across autonomous routing arrays to conceal unauthorized global traffic control. Experiments hidden inside internet optimization programs, and Ryan's identity had been selected as the central attribution anchor because it aligned perfectly with automated network incident resolution systems designed for rapid containment of politically and economically catastrophic connectivity failures. And one night, while analyzing live global routing telemetry streams from an isolated offline backbone node, Ryan saw something that completely shattered his understanding. His credentials were actively initiating real traffic recovery across global internet systems, while he was physically disconnected from all networks. And Evelyn immediately said, "They are continuously simulating your identity inside the routing layer to preserve the operational narrative." And Ryan realized he wasn't just being blamed after the event. He was being continuously reconstructed inside a live global internet system capable of shaping reality itself for billions of people. And pressure escalated rapidly. As anonymous containment directives began appearing secured on channels, instruction to investigation or face permanent classification as an international infrastructure threat entity, and sleep disappeared completely. Trust collapsed entirely, and even silence felt like monitored network feedback. And at one breaking point, Ryan whispered, "I thought the internet was meant to connect humanity, but maybe it exists to decide what version of reality humanity is allowed to experience." And Evelyn replied, "Systems don't preserve truth, they preserve continuity of connection." And that realization changed everything inside him, because he stopped trying to defend his identity and started focusing only on exposing the mechanism. And as they dug deeper, they uncovered encrypted relay nodes inside global internet infrastructure, continuously generating synthetic routing histories to distribute blame across multiple operational identity profiles in real time. And Ryan's profile had been amplified as the primary attribution point because it minimized global panic and allowed rapid closure of the connectivity crisis without exposing deeper corruption inside worldwide digital backbone systems. And when they finally compiled enough verified encrypted evidence to trigger international communications, oversight escalation, containment protocols activated, immediately attempting to erase routing histories across mirrored global backbone systems worldwide. And Evelyn said, "This is where most people are permanently absorbed into official versions of the network." And Ryan replied, "Then I'll be the anomaly they can't disconnect." And together, they transmitted secured evidence chains to independent international oversight authorities, while preserving decentralized encrypted backups across isolated backbone nodes. And within days, the investigation escalated into a worldwide internet infrastructure corruption probe, exposing identity replication abuse, autonomous routing manipulation, and coordinated global connectivity system exploitation across governments, corporations, and intelligence sectors, and arrests followed within senior network architecture divisions. And when it was over, Ryan stood alone beneath the silent night sky of Virginia, watching endless streams of global data flow invisibly above him as if nothing had ever happened, realizing that the most dangerous truth about advanced systems is not that they fail, but that they can assign failure to a single identity and make it appear universally undeniable. And a week later, when he met Evelyn for the last time beneath the dim glow of dormant backbone arrays, she asked him, "What did this change in you?" And Ryan looked at the invisible currents of the global network and said, "It showed me that identity inside systems is never connection. It is assigned control." And she asked, "And what did you gain?" And after a long silence, he replied, "The understanding that truth doesn't survive inside controlled infrastructure systems. It survives only in the people who refuse to accept a version of themselves generated to protect the stability of the network itself." And as he walked away alone into the quiet night, beneath a world still silently connected by unseen systems, he finally understood the deepest reality of his journey, that sometimes life doesn't destroy you directly. It quietly assigns you the collapse of an entire global system and waits to see if you accept the network's version of reality. But real survival begins the moment you refuse to become the identity a system creates to protect its own control of everything humanity depends on.